So, you're new to Destiny and all you want to do is play the game, but you're actually not even sure what you should be playing. Well, good news in this video, I'm going to be showing you what you need to buy when playing Destiny for the first time or as a returning player. As well as this, I'll be going over what order to do the content in and helping you to fill out the parts of the story that are no longer available in the game, be it due to sunsetted content or content only available during seasons. The objective of this video is to not only give you an idea of how to play, but also how to save money if you don't want to buy every single DLC outright. And one of the best ways to do that, by the way, is by checking out CD keys. A lot of the times they'll have these DLCs at a reduced rate, so make sure to grab them when they have them cheap, and make sure to use my affiliate link to support this channel. Right, let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about trying out Destiny for the first time ever. The great news is, if you've never played before and you want to start playing today, the base game is completely free on whatever platform you're playing on. On top of being free, Destiny is also crossplay and cross-progression, so if you want to play with your friends on PlayStation or Xbox and you're on PC, you can. And if you want to switch over to one of those consoles, you can do that too and maintain all of your progression as long as you link your accounts together. The base game of Destiny includes a brief introduction campaign called New Light that is free for all new players, which begins immediately after you choose a character. There are no restrictions on class choice. You can be a Warlock, Hunter, or Titan, regardless of whether you pay for content or not. After completing New Light, you'll have access to the following types of content in the game, starting with the main playlist activities, which include PvE Vanguard operations, as well as PvPvE game mode Gambit, and the dedicated PvP mode, Crucible. As well as this, you'll have access to Days of Eternity, which is a 6-person match-made game show activity that launched with Bungie's 30th anniversary event. You'll also be able to free roam in Destiny's large open areas and complete patrols and public events and seasonal events like the Solstice and Guardian games, which will also be available to you as a new player. Free-to-players can also test their skills in the Prophecy Dungeon, which is an older 3-person activity that's still one of the coolest in the game. And once you've mastered all the above, you can test your mettle in 6-player raids, which present as some of the hardest content in the game. The two that will be available to you as a new player are Vault of Glass, which was the original Destiny 1 raid, which has since been added to Destiny 2, and King's Fall, arguably one of the best raids to date, which was added in 2022. As mentioned before, all this content is completely free to play, and whilst that seems like a lot to keep you busy for a while, and it is, you will be missing quite a bit of context when it comes to the overarching story. The reason you'll be missing it is because Bungie have sunsetted major parts of the game, including the game's original campaign, the Red War, as well as multiple DLCs including Forsaken, which contains pivotal story elements that you will likely want context for as the story evolves. If you want to learn the story so you can better understand the latest campaigns that you do have access to, I highly recommend you check out My Name is Bife's videos, which delve into all the detail of the lore that you'll ever need. I'll put the links to the description down below to his channel and specific videos throughout that will help you understand the story that is no longer in the game. If you survived this far and you're still enjoying the game, then it's time to start delving into DLC. Most of Destiny 2 is actually paid content gated behind expansions or seasonal purchases, which includes most of the raids and dungeons, seasonal story missions, most seasonal activities, most of the exotic weapons and armor pieces, all of the expansion campaigns that haven't already been sunsetted, and the high-end PvP mode, Trials of Osiris. Let's talk about the expansions now and go over each one that is released since Destiny 2 launched. First up, we have Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and Forsaken, each of which, along with the Red War, are no longer active expansions in the game. Since these expansions are no longer in the game, you obviously won't need to buy them, but understanding what happened during these expansions is really going to help you to understand the overarching story of Destiny 2. Again, for this, I'll refer you to My Name is Bife's videos, as he does a great job explaining this part of the story. I'll do my best to link to those specific videos in the description down below, but the elements you'll need to cover to get the full picture of the story up to this point are the Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Season of the Outlaw, Season of the Forge, Season of the Drifter, and Season of Opulence. But even though Forsaken no longer exists as a story expansion in the game, the Forsaken content, i.e. the Forsaken exotic ciphers that allow you to unlock 3 exotic weapons, the Shattered Throne dungeon, and the Last Wish raid are still purchasable within the Forsaken pack. This pack is available to buy on all digital stores for around $20 at the time of recording. That said, this pack mainly contains endgame content, so take into consideration that you will need up to 5 other people to play with to complete some of the content featured in this pack. So if you're brand new to Destiny, maybe skip forward to the story expansions before swinging back around to buy this one. The only other pack like this which has no specific story content but contains other content like weapons, cosmetics, and another dungeon in the form of the Grasp of Avarice is the Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack, which is currently retailing around $25. Again, dungeons are endgame content, and even though they can be completed solo, they usually require multiple players to make the experience smoother and more enjoyable. So factor that in before you grab this pack. But if you're enjoying Destiny 2's endgame content and you want to grab both of these packs, you're in luck, since Destiny recently released a bundle pack that combines both the Forsaken pack and the Bungie 30th Anniversary pack at a discounted price of around $30. Which is a decent $15 off what you'd usually cost you to buy them separately. But now let's move on to the story expansions that are available in the game, starting with Shadowkeep. In Shadowkeep, you'll meet Eris Morn, who has discovered a dark secret on the moon. You'll confront hellish nightmares and uncover an enemy that will set the pace and tone for the future of the story. This expansion also opens up the Pit of Heresy dungeon and the Garden of Salvation raid. It's currently going for around $25 if you buy it as a standalone DLC, but is also available as a part of a bundle, which we'll talk about shortly. But if you're still on the fence about Destiny and you want to dive into your first real chunk of story content outside of New Light, this is your first port of call. One thing to remember though, even though you do have the story content from Shadowkeep, you will of course be missing the seasonal story content. This content is only ever available during the season that it actually occurs. The story that features each season does have an impact on the overarching narrative, so if you've missed any of these, and you will have if you're a new player, or may have missed as a returning player, you may be missing a decent chunk of key story beats. In order to catch up with everything you missed during Year 3, make sure to look at the season of Undying, the season of Dawn, the season of The Worthy, and the season of Arrivals. Again, I'll do my best to link the relevant videos in the description down below. Moving on to our second story expansion now with Beyond Light, where the frozen frontier of Europa holds many lost secrets from the past. You'll team up with Eris Morn, the Drifter, and the Exo Stranger from way back in Destiny 1 and uncover a new form of power from an ancient pyramid ship born from darkness in the form of a new subclass, Stasis. On top of this new story and new subclass, you'll be privy to new exotic gear and another raid, the Deepstone Crypts. This DLC is also part of a bundle, but as a standalone will set you back around $30. In terms of seasonal story, you'll want to catch up on the Season of the Hunt, the Season of the Chosen, the Season of the Splicer, and the Season of the Lost. Now on to what is pretty much universally accepted as the best DLC in Destiny 2, the Witch Queen. In this expansion, Savathun, sister of Oryx, the Taken King, and Goddess of Deceit, has somehow gained control of the light and has imbued her soldiers with this newly acquired power. You'll need to enter her throne world and take back the light from her and her Lucent Hive. On top of the story, the Witch Queen expansion also unlocks weapon crafting. With this new system, you're able to shape weapons to suit your specific needs and playstyles, beginning with the brand new weapon type also introduced in this expansion, the Glaive. On top of this, you'll also gain access to the Vow of the Disciple raid, but if you want to unlock the Duality and Spire of the Watcher dungeons, you'll have to have bought the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition in the past, as it's no longer available. Alternatively, grab the Witch Queen dungeon key from the Eververse store on the expansion tab, which will cost you around about 2,000 silver, which equates to around about $20 IRL. Definitely worth it if you're enjoying endgame content. That said, Spire happens to be my favourite dungeon, so I might be a little bit biased. In terms of seasonal content that you might want to catch up on to get to grips with the story, make sure you check out the Season of the Risen, the Season of the Haunted, the Season of Plunder, and the Season of the Seraph. The Witch Queen expansion will set you back around about $30 if you buy it as a standalone, but if you do decide to buy it as part of the 2023 Legacy Collection bundle, you'll likely save yourself a nice little chunk of change, as the Legacy Collection costs around $60 at the time of recording and includes the Witch Queen, Beyond Light, and Shadowkeep expansions, which will equate to saving around $25. Not only that, but the Legacy Pack has occasionally gone on sale with up to 50% off, which for all this content is absolutely amazing. At this point, we're starting to catch up with the current content in the game, so let's talk about Lightfall, the latest and penultimate expansion in Destiny 2 within the Light and Dark saga. In Lightfall, you discover a hidden city on Neptune after following the newly anointed disciple of Destiny's big bad, the Witness, disgraced Emperor Callus. Help defend the citizens of Neomuna and seek to uncover the secrets of the mysterious Veil. The story here serves as an introduction to another darkness subclass, Strand. This new power allows you to pull at the fabric of the universe and will things in and out of existence. On top of new weapons and armor, Lightfall also brings with it a new raid in the form of Root of Nightmares and a new announced but unnamed dungeon. As I'm recording this video, we are currently in the first season of this expansion, which is the 20th season overall, called Season of Defiance, which means if you're jumping in now for the first time, or you're a returning player, this will be your opportunity to play and experience seasonal content and story as it's happening, and not just catching up via YouTube. Now let's talk about how you can actually access this content. And if you haven't been confused before about how Destiny structures how you buy their content, then hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets a little bumpy. First of all, and easiest of all, you could just buy the Lightfall expansion as a standalone. This version is probably going to set you back around $50. If you just want to experience the campaign, this is probably what you want to grab. But if you're feeling like you're going to be playing for a while, you might want to grab the Lightfall and Annual Pass bundle. This bundle includes the new Exotic Sparrow, the Quicksilver Storm exotic weapon, its catalyst and its ornament, as well as the Lightfall dungeon key and season passes for season 20, 21, 22 and 23. This bundle is the most expensive item that you can purchase in Destiny 2 right now and will set you back around $100. If you just wanted to try the campaign though, but you find yourself wanting to get access to all of the extras in the bundle that we just talked about, there is another bundle that allows you to take the base campaign DLC and upgrade it to include all of the extras. Thankfully though, it won't cost you any extra than it would have originally costed you, as all these extras amount to around $50. And that's it for what you need to buy to play all the content available in Destiny. So, to summarize and highlight a few different paths you might want to take, here's a little breakdown. Brand new to Destiny? Try it out free to play on any platform of your choosing with crossplay and cross progression enabled. You can install this on any device and keep your progression within the free to play elements. I definitely advise at the very least trying this out, as it'll give you a bit of an idea of how the game works so you can see if you'd like to invest some more. Once you've completed the base campaign and you want to continue the story, you can either try Shadowkeep as a standalone expansion before you buy all of the available DLC, or if you're already hooked, go ahead and buy the Legacy Collection, as you'll save yourself a bit of money rather than buying each of them individually. Following this, if you're still invested in the campaign, check out Lightfall. Personally, I think if you've managed to get to this point, you're probably pretty invested in the game, and since the seasonal content is absolutely worth the money, I'd advise going for the annual pass, as that will give you a full year of content without you having to spend any more until the last expansion, the Final Shape. Finally, if you've reached this point and you've enjoyed the campaign and you start to delve into the endgame content, make sure you grab the Forsaken and 30th Anniversary Packs too. I personally grabbed them in the new bundle that combines both of them, so you save yourself a little more cash along the way. With Lightfall, many systems have received overhauls to simplify them to better allow newer players to understand the mechanics of the game without having had played the game for 7 years at this point. It's probably one of the best times to jump into Destiny right now, and I say this from experience as I only really started playing properly about 2 months ago. So I'm coming at this from a returning player point of view at the very least, but probably more like a new player as I barely played beforehand. But if you're still struggling as a new player or returning player, I'll be making more videos with guides, tips and tricks to be able to help you in your journey. So remember to check out the rest of the videos on the channel, remember to like and subscribe, and as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.